Could you live in $150 a month in Soviet apartment inside Russia's safest and most dangerous cities? In the USSR, these houses were called temporary and promised to be demolished by now. But as you know, something went wrong. Welcome to a trip you never asked for, but trust me, you needed it. Pouring rain along huge overpasses, we set off from Moscow to the cities where part of the USSR still lives. Khrushchevka. It's not pretty at all, but it's iconic, like the Statue of Liberty. Only here it's not a beautiful monument to freedom, but a 5-story concrete box. These box-shaped houses with tiny balconies and copied one-in-one plans are called Khrushchevki. They were named after Nikita Khrushchev, a Soviet leader, failed farmer, and huge fan of American corn. Yeah, corn. He was also the mastermind behind mass housing in the USSR. After Second World War, the Soviet Union lay in ruins. Cities were bombed, and more or less adequate housing was a luxury. Khrushchev's idea? Standardized, quickly assembled homes, like real-life Lego. Such houses could be built in 2 weeks. No elevator, without a garbage chute, there is no comfort, just walls, a roof, and the Soviet dream. But for us, these areas are not just concrete. It's a lifetime. Our childhood. Playgrounds were parking lots for cars. Our hide-and-seek and catch-up game included broken noses, street gangs consisting of 5-year-old gangsters, and real stick-and-stone battles. Imagine a Squid Game, but without rules and parents shouting from balconies. There were no mobile phones. A call from the 5th floor was enough, and you were already rushing home for lunch. And if, God forbid, you step on some grandmother's lawn, you'd rather face a SWAT team. Those grandmothers in the yard were scarier than all police combined. Each courtyard is like a mini state fortress. Theater. Friendship was born here, there was fighting here, and the borders were no worse guarded than in a war zone. But what exactly is Khrushchevki? Usually there are 5 floors, because you already need an elevator higher up, and that's a luxury. And luxury is inequality, and inequality in communism is something you understand. These houses were temporary dwellings for the builders of communism. In fact, they're like early version of tiny house, but without all this fusion design. The kitchens were about 4-7 meters, so small that you could boil tea and take anything out of the fridge at the same time without taking any steps. Actually, at first, they didn't want to make personal kitchens at all. It was planned that everyone would eat in a communal canteens. Cause why cook at home if you can eat with 200 friends? And yet, more than 60 years have passed, and these temporary houses are still standing. A little crooked, of course, but alive. They were supposed to be like intermediate step on the way to the Martian colonies. Now many are trying to demolish them, or at least patch them up. But to really understand Khrushchevki, let's go inside the most ordinary apartment that half of the Russians had, and still have. This apartment costs only $150 per month. Remember, what can you buy in New York for that money? A trash can? Maybe.
Oh man, the smell. You have to be here to understand. So yeah, this is our apartment. Let's open it. That's the keys of our palace. It's dark. Oh, hot. So hot here. Okay. Whoa. So hot. Where's the lights? Ah! Oh. Yeah, nice. Whoa, so hot here. Okay, let's go. Man, I like the renovation. The owner told me that they renovated the apartment a bit. So cool. Yeah, you have to see it. You have to see it. Yeah, I like it. No, and the bed here, it takes me to my childhood because I used to live in pretty much the same apartment. It was kind of bigger, so it's like more for one person or a couple. Oh, I don't feel good. I wanna lay down. I wanna lay down. Oh man. Oh shit. What is it? Oh, what happened? What happened with me? Where I am? Oh my god. Oh my god, I like it. I like it. What is it? I really like this apartment so much. Let's have a review of this beautiful apartment. Apartment tour. Okay, let's start with this big wardrobe where we can put TVs, books, our cups. Cups here are really fancy. We don't usually drink them, only when we have like, I don't know, important guests or like special occasions. Here we can put some clothes, or you can put some clothes if you want to rent this apartment. It's a little bit broken here, but we can live with that. We can definitely live with it. And big bed. All your dreams. You can sleep here, you can do whatever you want here. Also, yeah, look at the sky, man. I actually haven't seen it in the first place. Let's see the kitchen, what's going on here. Oh yeah, you can use this with your coat or whatever you want. Maybe you're a friend. Let's see, yeah. Wow, this is cool, man. Oh my god. Don't they have any food here? No food, not food. Maybe something to drink? Maybe some vodka? Okay, what is it? Okay, let's try. Let's check it out. Okay. It's not vodka, believe me. It's pretty simple. You can cook here. Lots of knives, actually. Russian loves knives. You can use them for different occasions. Let's see what's going on here. So many cups, plates. It's just enough for, I guess, big family. Okay, and here we put garbage or whatever you want. You can put it here. Here you can cook. I think it works. Here we, yeah, maybe some. Oh man, what the heck? Yeah, you have to deal with bugs or termites or I don't know, lots of guys. They basically live here. So you won't be bored here because you have lots of friends. I love the decoration part. I really like the kitchen. It's kind of lonely because, no, it's not lonely. You have three chairs. You can play some games here. I like it. It's like, good morning. My neighborhood. Hello. Oh man, you can even like have this Paris type of moment and you know, sit by the window, dream, read your books. I kind of like that the apartment is on the first floor, but in these small towns, it's kind of common that some dude can, you know, get into your apartment. What the fuck? Somebody bite me? Whatever. So some dude can get into your apartment through the window. So it's kind of a bit scary, but you know, you have knives here, so you know how to protect yourself. So I mean, I'm a bit, you know, worried, I would say, about this. In the movies, you see that you can really kind of dive in there, but I'm not sure that you can do something like that in this apartment. But okay. I like it. I mean, look at it. Japanese flavors. Bathrooms usually are a bit scary in Russia, so let's open this door. What's going on here? Okay. So it's kind of good. It's kind of alright. You do whatever you want. Chain. So it's kind of convenient, I would say. Man. Look at this. This is kind of legend that in all Russian apartments, the domovoi lives. Domovoi is the guy who protects the apartment from the bad spirits. Now being here, it's like gives so many memories back. I mean, so cool. I like it. I wanna rent this apartment.
What is around these boxes? Let's talk about cities. This is the city called Chekhov. It's considered close to Moscow, only 60 kilometers from Moscow. It's quite close. This city is named after Anton Chekhov, the great writer who could turn a dead sparrow into a philosophical tragedy. He loved to come here to drink tea and, what's stronger, write his stories. Today it is a quiet, green city. Families are walking in parks, living their Khrushchevka apartments, children are chasing pigeons, and couples can walk along this bridge over the pond where new residential buildings are already rising. Art lives here even in residential areas. The walls are painted with frescoes about the heroes of the past and great personalities, so a cozy city where sunny summers and warm weather always flow smoothly into a cold, picturesque winter, which is not fierce and evil, but beautiful and unusual. We got hungry and stopped at the Russian equivalent of McDonald's. Pretty much clean, families with children. It tastes no worse than the original. There are shops like Peterchka, our local 7-Eleven, but with buckwheat, vodka and herring. Under the windows are old Soviet cars, Zhiguli and Volga, that's classic. You look at Khrushchevki and you think, maybe that's the point. They shouldn't have survived, but they survived. They resisted. Meanwhile, in the elite districts of Moscow, everything is going according to the plan. Khrushchev buildings are being demolished, and skyscrapers and business centers are being built in their places. It creates an amazing contrast between the present and the past. Today in Moscow, the renovation program is underway, which means that all those who lived in old houses need to move out of them, and the state will give them an apartment in a new building instead. Progress cannot be stopped because moving forward is life. But with the destruction of these buildings, an entire era of the past is passing away. Now we see these echoes of the past and warmly recall the beginning of our lives. But in a couple of decades, there will be no trace of this old legacy, at least in Moscow. Glass towers are now rising in place of the old 5-story buildings. Tall, cold, self-confident, the city wants to appear new, modern and business-like. He stretches upward, as if trying to forget what he was like. But while one house grows upward, the other sinks into the ground. The 5-story buildings were cramped, with peeling walls and the eternal smells of fresh paint. They had poor communication, the doors creaked, and the batteries froze in winter. But it wasn't just meters that lived in these walls, but people and their years. Someone fell in love there for the first time, waited for their parents from work, ran from school there. They dried clothes, made soup, cursed, made up, looked out the window into the future. The children grew up there, not knowing that one day they would never even be able to return to look at their very entrance. The program of renovation is changing the face of the city, but its soul is disappearing with it. Not because the old is better than new, but because there is no memory in the new one. Sometimes you walk down the street and where your house used to be, there is already a complete different, alien one. You stop and look at the glass, but it does not reflect you, and it becomes scary. What if one day what you felt will disappear? That's why it gets so sad. Not because of the bricks, but because along with the houses goes a life that no one but you no longer remembers. Thank you very much for watching, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to know more about Eastern Europe,